Hi guys, this is Alexandra Mathews for week 7 of the Remembrance series, Awaken the Master Within. This week is going to be a little different. The working title is, What is Authenticity? I've definitely been in a little bit of a breakdown, and by that I just mean a little stumped, a little stopped, a little confused, which I know is all really good things, because on the other side of a breakdown is a breakthrough or just an even deeper realization and insight about myself and my journey and my process and what I'm here to share. So this breakdown was inspired by a dear friend of mine sharing that she felt that she couldn't fully receive my videos, these videos in this series, that she couldn't relate to them because she felt that I was putting on an act. And for me, I make that mean being inauthentic. And so I've been in this inquiry of what is authenticity? Because we are such multidimensional, varied beings, are we not? And there are so many versions to ourselves at different times and different places, and while ultimately it is all the same person, we're just going to show up differently in different areas of our life. And while ultimately I intend to fully align myself to be the same person in the sense that I honor my same values wherever I am. In one context, I'm going to be pretty wild and eccentric and self-expressed, and in another, I might be reserved, and that's just part of my natural flow and fluctuation. And one isn't necessarily more me than the other. I just vacillate in between all these different ways of being. And so I open up this video to be a dialogue, to be a discourse. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the series, on yourself in your own life, what you've discovered around authenticity. And I'm present to the fact that even in really addressing this issue and in my desire and attempt to want to be more authentic, perhaps I'm being inauthentic because I'm wanting to be authentic on some level to please people, to be liked. So it's like, is my desire to be authentic inauthentic? And what's been coming up though, which is cool, is that I'm really present to the fact that this series is not necessarily about the content that I'm sharing. I really believe that this series and the true teaching is going to be in who you guys get to witness me blossoming into, how you guys get to witness my journey and my evolution in my delivery and in the ways that I am able to embody that which I'm sharing and that which I believe even more and more through situations and circumstances like this where I receive a feedback and it makes me feel all confused, and I'm just like here in this existential crisis of like, who am I? And which version of me is more authentic? Which is, it's always a really great inquiry to be in. And generally, every year I go through at least once a year a pretty massive cycle of some really deep-seated confusion about who I am. And on an intellectual level, I believe I am nothing, in the sense that I'm not a thing, that I can create myself to be whoever I want to be. And I guess that's the question, is who do I want to be? And ultimately my intention is to inspire, to uplift. So if in any way this series is not doing that and you feel like that there is something you like to offer that could make this more effective for you, I do welcome your feedback with love and kindness. Another interesting thing that's come up for me is I know a lot of times people will post videos of themselves crying and the importance of not just being happy all the time and like we have it all together. And I completely value that. And I noticed that a weird go-to for me in my mind when all of this came up was like, okay, so I can get on camera and I get all emotional and be authentic. And while it would be, I could be true for me in that moment, another part of myself was like, does one need to be all angsty and cry just to be considered authentic and vulnerable? Is there something that we just generally don't, I don't know, believe about people who are joyous? Or is that us actually tuning into something deeper? And it's like, there's always more. There's always like, there's the joy and there's the sorrow and there's all of the stuff and all of the unseen and hidden constructs of ways that we're trying to be a certain way so that we can be accepted or belong. And I feel that that's a lifelong journey. And something I've come to is that perhaps authenticity is not a destination, but perhaps it's just an exploration and a journey. And this inquiry is it. I don't need to have the answers. So I appreciate all of you guys so much. And it's been really humbling and also really empowering, because I know that a few years ago, this kind of feedback or facing feelings of embarrassment around this and being like, oh God, now all those videos are out there and it's so obvious like how fake I am, would be really devastating. And it's been really cool to notice, okay, I trust that people who really get it will really get it, will really know where I'm coming from and really hold that compassion for me in my journey to evolve into my most authentic self. And it feels good to know that, okay, there can be stuff out there that I don't necessarily fully feel is perfect, and that's far more than okay. That's me doing it. That's me finally sharing myself and not just waiting for everything to fall into place, because that will necessarily never happen. It's just, as we said, constantly evolving. So it's a really, I don't know, I've been having a really interesting time meditating on this. And these are all the questions of like, do I need to be super casual to be authentic? Am I not allowed to be more mature and in a more, I don't know. And I know that what my friend was speaking to and is more of a, and there's also someone else who made a comment, and perhaps many of you who have been watching also feel similarly, is that I know that there's definitely an energy of wanting to be something, to be the thing that I feel like I need to be. And while I do my best to take off my armor and shed my skin and my cloak of pretense and arrogance and all of that, it's a process. And so ultimately I'm really grateful for this opportunity to further release all that is not who I want to be. And maybe ultimately I don't change a thing, but I'm at least asking the questions and willing to look. And perhaps just within that looking, it already reveals itself. My true self already arises in that willingness to look in the mirror and be honest. So may this inspire all of you to find your truth, whatever that may be. And also some beautiful advice that I've been getting from some friends is that ultimately, as long as it feels good to you, like it's our art that we're creating. So while it's nice to take feedback, at the end of the day, everyone is going to have a different opinion, and we can't please everyone, and different people are going to relate to different things. And as we're growing and evolving, people from our past also might not be able to relate to newer versions of ourselves. They might not have fully been able to experience who we are in this now. And so holding you to the past, you might feel that you're not being yourself when, for example, with this friend, I haven't really been around for the last year and a half, and there's been so much growth that's happened. So perhaps there's just a resonance that is different. And that's a whole other topic of how we can trigger people through not being who we've always been for them. It can be scary because it either inspires people to grow as well, or it makes them want to push you away. And this isn't the situation with who I'm referring to. It's just inspiring me to speak on this topic. And for the sake of brevity, I shall close this session now, and I look forward to seeing what you all have to say. Thank you so much for holding me in your heart. Wishing you a beautiful day. Aloha.